Well, here it is. First of all, Dame Lillard said put some respect on his name, and he got all the respect from me, myself, Mr. Perkins sitting right here. He's been balling. He's a stud. He's the MVP of the bubble, and I cannot deny that. Kudos to my boy C.J. McCollum for playing with a fractured back. I could imagine the pain that he's dealing with and fighting out there night in and night out. But here it is. In order to advance in the playoffs, first of all, you cannot advance without playing defense. And I've been looking at the stats of Portland for statistical-wise, and then they rank dead or close to last in every statistical category on the defensive end. They are horrible defensively. They don't guard the ISO well. Guys could get whatever they want. If you even look back to about 2 weeks ago when they played the Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum had it their way. You talk about barbecue chicken, it was smothered ribs on the grill. And then when you go back and look last night, if the Nets had a veteran on the squad that could actually tell everyone slow down and control the pace of the game, they walk out of there with the victory. You look at LeVert, he had it his way. He got to the rack whenever he wanted to. A guy in Joe Harris, who's known for being a knockdown three-point shooter, was getting to the basket at will. And then we look at Jared Allen, who was the only center on the Nets battling against Big Nurkic and Big Whiteside by itself, quietly had a 14 and 11. You look at a guy and you put that same guy and replace him with Anthony Davis, that's 20 and 20. So I'm looking at this Portland team. They are playing inspiring basketball. No knock on them for that. But defensively, they're horrible. And I said this coming into the bubble, the person that they was going to miss the most, and it's showing, is Trevor Ariza. I thought even in the offseason, when they lost Aminu and Mo Harkless, I said, man, they should have kept one of those players because you need a wing defender in order to make any type of noise in the playoffs, especially in the Western Conference.
Well, see, here's the thing, KP. I totally agree with you, but I also understand what they're doing here because they've been contaminated by Mike D'Antoni, and one could easily argue with Steve Kerr. When you have shooters like Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum, right, what you have is a situation, if you watch that third quarter when Brooklyn was running them out of there, right, they went on like a 15-1 run, like an 18-3 run. You know, what happened is that Portland was jacking up shots. They weren't even trying to get the ball into the hole. They weren't even trying to dictate pace or do anything like that. They were passing and then yanking shots, and they just were clanking off the rim. They weren't making those shots. And so what happens is that, okay, I'm going to take a three or I'm going to get a layup. Forget the mid-range game. Meanwhile, Brooklyn was taking everything you gave them. You gave them a three, fine. You gave them a mid-range J, fine. You gave them a layup, fine. Whatever they could get, they were taking. And let's give props to Jacques Vaughn and the job that he's done coaching Brooklyn, obviously, since they got rid of Atkinson. This man has been doing a hell of a job. Now, granted, we see Ty Lue, and we know that he deserves to be a head coach. He's a champion. Now he's an assistant on the Clippers bench. He's got no business being an assistant. He should be a head coach, and he will get a head coaching job. But we cannot ignore the job that Jacques Vaughn has done with these players. And he didn't lose because he got out-coached. He didn't lose because he didn't know what he was doing. He lost because Damian Lillard exploded, and then Grant made a big-time three from the left corner when it counted. Yeah. Melo made a three, and, of course, C.J. McCollum with that pull-up jumper. So the big boys came to the rescue in terms of making big shots. But that's what saved Portland last night along with Lillard.
And the Nets got a little unlucky. I'll say this, Perk, what you said about they should have retained at least a wing defender. Neil Olshey is an excellent GM. He's president of basketball operations. He was really good with the Clippers years ago. He's been great with the Trailblazers. But there is a difference between someone like him and, let's say, Masai Ujiri, who's in a similar kind of market. It's not like people are clamoring to go to Toronto. Similar weather, the whole thing, right? Or Daryl Morey, or GMs who can not just make playoff contenders in unlikely spots, but can make powerhouses with a chance to win a championship. Olshey is really good, but I would say one notch below Ujiri and Morey and the very elite, and I think the Portland team shows that.
All right, well, after last night's win, again, the Trailblazers have the chance to make the playoffs.
Get Monte Williams in.
This weekend, they will be in
Shout
the
out to
play-in
Jock Vaughn
round.
for them Spurs ties.
All right, and I think the consensus is the Blazers, they need to play some defense, but they've got the offense going for them. This week, Dame Lillard became just the second player in NBA history, along with Wilt Chamberlain, to score 60 points in 3 games in a single season. But all that being said, Vegas is still picking Lakers as the overwhelming favorites to win the title.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.